Now going to move on to our next speaker this evening. In our current difficult and challenging times, we would enjoy a meeting together to savor a dinner and hear a speaker uplift us while we relax. Sherry Holt tonight will share with us the 3 pots. This is the last speech required for her Advanced Communicator Gold Achievement. Timer, she will need 10 to 12 minutes. Please help me welcome Sherry Holt.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to be with each of you wherever you are tonight. We all may have had different dinners. Tonight I had a yummy Mexican casserole from an old recipe that Dewey found and shared with us. Oh, but that's not the story that I'm wanting to tell tonight. An after dinner relaxation time and get us to be retrospective of who we are and where we want to be future-wise, even after sheltering and the pandemic has gone its way. I believe one of the most important things that we can do, each of us, is to stay strong, united, and friendly towards each other. Sometimes just waving your hand at the passing car for the neighbor, joining our friends that are all here with us online. But before we can do any of that, we need to decide what kind of person we are already or the kind of person that we want to become. I remember when I was still working before retirement, now I'm constantly working from home, is that it was a joy, a pleasure, except when I had to work nights from home and I sat in my pajamas and worked from home. We're a social species and we have to have connections. And this is another part of what makes us unique and why this is such a troubling and difficult time. I'm going to share with you, I hope, tonight, ways that you can think about who am I and what can I become and grow from that. One of the areas about working from home and being separated, I was talking with my sister recently, and she's considered an essential employee. She was driving to work and looked out ahead, and she saw someone walking on the side of the road. That was a little unusual for right now. She got closer and closer. She found out that was Jesus. She couldn't help herself. She had to stop and ask, Jesus, what are you doing here? He looked at her, smiled, and replied, I'm working from home. All the beauty that we can find wherever we are. She's living in Texas, and if you know very many Texicans, Texas is God's country. Now, we have many opportunities, not just working from home, but with this situation and seeing the person that we can become if we're not already, there's lots of different things that the internet, the news, your friends, even Toastmasters tells us that we can be doing right now during sheltering. We can read a book, uh, read it for pleasure, pick up an educational activity. Metro Nashville Public Schools has lots of curriculum out there that's free for download right now. You might say, well, it's high school. Yeah, but if you've been out of high school as long as I have been out of high school, these kids now are taking what I would have taken as a sophomore or junior in college. Pick that up, or at least go and look at the curriculum, see if there's anything that you'd like to do. There are honey-dos. I don't think he's picked up on them yet because he's an essential employee also. Oh, binge movies, binge TV watching. If you have Amazon Prime, you are in business. There is so much out there. But that shouldn't be the only things that we're doing. Writing letters, yes, they still exist. Write those to friends and to family. Write some letters to yourself. Hide them in the house. Talk about what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what the sheltering in place was like. You'll find them someday, and when you do, they'll mean a lot to you and maybe even to your children and grandchildren. If you become senile, never find them, when your kids and grandkids have to clean out your house, they'll find them. What we do in this new unprecedented paradigm of personal and professional life solely depends on each of us. And as I cook at home more now, or Dewey cooks at home more now, there were 3 pots sitting on the stove. I filled each one of them up with water. I allowed the water to boil. And as I was watching the water boil, it suddenly hit me, that boiling water sure does remind me currently of our current situation of roiling and boiling and turning and hot, all those things. It's our current environment right now. My mind thought, I've got some things that I can put in these pots, and let's just see what happens. In the first pot, I put a carrot. In the second pot, I put an egg. In the third pot, I put a cup of coffee beans. I know, you're asking me, what does that have to do with what kind of person I am or I can become? You'll see in just a few minutes. I turned each one off after they boiled for about 5 or 10 minutes and observed each one. And as I observed them, I found lots of different ideas about myself or about other people. And I just had to share these with each of you tonight. The carrot, it had become soft and limp it just kind of bent up and down and back and forth. I thought it was kind of yucky. I tasted it. It was sweet to the taste, but that was about it. I equated that to some people. They might be a carrot. They're limp, they're weak, undecisive. When you first meet them, they may be wonderfully sweet, but that's as far as it goes. I set it aside. I thought, no, I'm not a carrot person. I moved to the second pot. There was an egg there. I looked down into the pot. There were strings of white egg. The eggshell was cracked. I thought about it, thought, do I want to be an egg? Let's take it out of this water and find out. The egg was solid. I sliced it open. It was still a little soft on the inside. And even though its shell was cracked and it was firm, it still had a soft inside. And I thought, that could be some people, and some people could develop into this. The third was the coffee beans. I walked up, savored the aroma, and went, that's who I want to be. Well, not just for the aroma. It was for all the other things that the coffee beans provided. It provided an aroma. Anybody that walked up to it could smell it. It shared of itself by giving us a great warm beverage. You may be drinking coffee right now. Think about the coffee beans and think about the person you would want to become. Do you think these three pots can represent life? They do. Choose which one that you want to be. Madam Toastmaster.